this is a little bit about the leadership team that we have at the virtual group. Uh, we have Dan English with the chapter leader for this group, and me, Partoshi, I'm the chapter co-leader. If you're not connected with us on any of our social media channels, we encourage you to do so. We are on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you didn't know already, all of our past presentations are uploaded on YouTube, so you can check them out on YouTube if you want. PAST also has a lot of virtual chapters other than the Business Index virtual chapter that you're attending today. Some of my recommendations for you would probably be data science group is a good one, business intelligence, Excel BI, big data. All of those things fall in the data and analytics camp that all of us belong to. So check them out. They also have monthly meetings on similar themes, which you might benefit of if you didn't know about it already. And if you want to attend offline events, then there are conferences, SQL Saturdays, and local SQL groups. So check them out. You might have a nearby offline event that might be happening where you can go and network with other people. And as you might already know, PASS is run by volunteers, and it wouldn't exist without volunteers. So if you are considering some leadership opportunities, and if you want to volunteer with PASS, go to this website, volunteer.sqlpass.org, fill up the profile, and that's a great way to get started in the community. Also, we want to let you know that PASS has been working on rebranding, and we have a new website now. So check us out. Check out the PASS website. There's new branding. There's new website. Our mission doesn't really change. It's just the branding has changed, which includes names and logos. So this group, as you probably already know, was called a virtual chapter, but now it's been renamed to a virtual group. So moving forward in our marketing messages and in our website, you'll see the word virtual groups. Again, that doesn't change our mission that much. It's just that the branding has been refreshed to reflect the new identity that PASS is going with. And PASS, which is our parent organization, also is active on social media channels. So if you didn't really know about it, then you can check them out on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter. And they also have a website where you can check out all the stuff that PASS does. All right. So with that, let me hand this over to Leila. Before I do that, a quick announcement. The slides are already on the handout section. So when you logged into GoToWebinar, it would have opened up an options tab. And one of the options for that is handout. So you can download the slide that I just walked through, and also the slide that Leila has on the Cortana Intelligence Suite. So you can download both of those slides right there. And if you have any questions while attending the session, we'll take all the questions at the end of the session, but you can start putting your questions down in the questions tab as well, which you can find in the right side on the GoToWebinar panel as well. All right. So with that, let me hand this over to Leila. Leila, you might be muted.
Hello?
Yep, I can hear you now. Perfect.
Great. Hello, everyone. I'm Leila Etaati from New Zealand. I'm going to talk about Cortana Analytics and how we can use it for doing an IoT job, getting data from different resources. So before I start, I'm Leila Etaati, and just a minute, I'm just hide the icon. So actually, I'm Microsoft Data Platform MVP, and also I did my PhD in information system. I'm interested in machine learning and also the BI, Microsoft BI. I have a dog, and I'm interested in playing game boards, and we travel a lot to attend different conferences and also see different places. I'm going to talk about the Cortana Analytics. So first, let me have a look on what is Cortana, what different components it has. Then I'm going to show you a case that I'm use different component of Cortana to create an IoT to actually to get the weather data from a sensor and then pass it to the cloud and watch the live data change in humidity and temperature in Power BI. Then, and how we can also use it for doing some Azure ML. And I will be appreciate if you have any question, just if possible, just at the end of the session, at the end of the 1 hour, please ask me. Thank you. So just a minute, and just make it as a go to the slideshow. So Cortana actually is not just about Cortana that we know that we say something and insert through the computer for us. Cortana is actually a platform in the cloud that has different components. The first place is that when you can get data from different resources. So it can be a Facebook page, it can be a database, and also it can be device. So you can provide information from different type of resources, can be sensors, social media, or databases. Another part of Cortana is information management. So for example, Azure Data Factory can be similar to SSIS that get the data from different resources and schedule the gating the data, and you can do some cleaning on data. Or another one is Azure Event Hub, that today I will talk about that help you to get information from different devices. So this is the information management part of Cortana Analytics. The next part is big data storage. So as the name is obvious, that it helps you to store information even in Azure Data Lake or Azure SQL database. So first stage, we use information management to gather different information from different places. We can store the data in data warehouse or SQL database. And then in a third place, that's actually machine learning and analytics. It helps us to do some Azure machine learning or using the Hadoop to get more insight out of data. And the last part is visualization. That can be Power BI or can be any device, face recognition or speech like Cortana that you work with that definitely. That shows you how actually deliver the information to people. Okay, so for this session, I'm going to talk about the Azure Event Hub. Then I'm going to show that how we can send the information from Azure Event Hub to Stream Analytics and also to Azure Machine Learning, and finally shows the information in Power BI. So this session actually I want to show that how we can use Cortana. So I'm select some parts. However, you also can store information in Azure SQL Data Warehouse or Azure SQL Database. But for this session, I'm just show these parts. So I'm going to talk about IoT. Imagine that in a farming, it's really important that the farmers check the different elements of their farm. So for example, the temperature that can change. It will be affect on the cattle that we have here and also the planet that we have in the farm, the wind speed during the night. So it's really good that we can measure these things online and we can help us to actually come up with a measurement that how these measure change. Or in another example, for example, in Auckland, we have many, lots of boat. People really like fishing, and I can say most of people have a boat. So sometimes it's really important for us to understand the deep and sea level life. So we see that how much in the deep of sea we are, the temperature, the wind, the location. This information, if we become actually live, can help us to get better decision and react immediately. Another example could be IoT home automation. So it's not just about getting the data. Sometimes you want to control the home. So you want to control the temperature, you want to control the switch off and on of a light or fan. And sometimes you want to just check, like a camera, you want to have a PC that help you to check that who is in your house and who's not. And these all things should be some kind of the live that can happen at the time. Okay. Before I'm going to talk about anything, I want to show a demo. That's a video that I'm taking for the Cortana. Unfortunately, because of internet connection, I couldn't show the exact device, but this is a camera, this is a video that I'm created. So in this example, I'm going to show you that how I'm using a sensor, that's a weather station, and using the Raspberry Pi to collect information about the weather and then pass it to Power BI. So I will talk about that, so just let me mute the video. So this is the Raspberry Pi information that you can see here. So this is Raspberry Pi, it has device name and also IP address, and it needs to be connected to a actually to a network. So if you set up the Raspberry Pi, there is a setting here that you can come and set up the information. For that, also, I need to set up a Windows application. I'll also show that Windows application to you in my PC. That's actually run the code on the Raspberry Pi. Oh, sorry. I'm just going a bit further. So this is my Raspberry Pi. So, and this is the code that I need. I will also talk about that. And this code actually will be run on the Raspberry Pi to help us to get the information from sensor and then pass it to the Cortana. So as you see here, I have some information about the IP that my Raspberry Pi has. So when I run the code, it's Raspberry Pi connected to the sensor, and you can see the information about the temperature, humidity, and the other. So in the here, you will see that there is a message that send the information from the weather station to the cloud. So yeah, it's showing that the message have been sent. And also here you will see the information about the weather. So in that time the weather was 23rd degree and the pressure, and as you see here, the weather station get the weather every 2 or 3 seconds and it's passing to the event hub. So this is a very general thing. I just want to show this one and then I will explain them. And you can see here, this is my Power BI, and you can see that it's changed instantly based on that. So it's a really general thing that happen here. So you can see that I have the time here at the x-axis, and I have in the y-axis I have the temperature. So I want to check that does it live or not. So this is my sensor. This is my weather sensor. I put it in the water. Oh, actually I should. So I put it in the hot water. So when I put it in the hot water, the temperature going up. So I can see this one in here. So you see that it's from 20 to 30 going up, and you can see live it in the monitor, in the TV that I have. Now I'm going to see that how it shows in the Power BI. So based on the things that happen, it will be shown in Power BI and show me that these differences. So as you see here, this is my Power BI, and you see that the weather instantly starting to going up and up, different things. So you see that how it can be possible. So I'm going to show you that how this can be happen, and how actually we can actually use and create this process through using the different component of Cortana. So yeah, this is the all. So let me continue to the session. Okay. So at the end also you will see that I'm take off the water, and you see that the weather going down and down. Okay. So the first step is actually just let me go out of the menu. Okay. So the first step is to get the live data. For doing this session, I'm using Raspberry Pi. Raspberry Pi is actually in New Zealand dollar. I purchased it about $70. So it's not that much expensive. It's an actual computer. So it has the most component of a computer that you need in a small case. So for operating system, you need to have a SD card. So you see that this is my SD card that I'm using, and you put the SD card inside the Raspberry Pi. So this is the all memory that Raspberry Pi has. So for example, I'm using the SD card for 16 gigabyte that I put it in the Raspberry Pi. So here you see, if you look at here, this is my Raspberry Pi, and I put the actually the card, the SD card that has the Windows on it. I will also show you to how to Windows onto SD card. And then as you see, look at here, you see that it's like a computer. It has some ports for USB, it has port for HDMI, so you can connect it to the actually any monitor. It has some ports for connecting to the different sensors. Raspberry Pi actually has been very used. It has been used for making kit project, desktop PC, creating some sensors, and creating some games. And also in IoT, if you want to control the home environment or any other, you can use the Raspberry Pi. There are also many different websites that can help you in this way. There is a website named Hackster that actually helped me a lot. If I can show you this to you. So this is a project that I'm going through that. So if I'm just showing it to you, there are many IoT projects, not just by Raspberry Pi, but with other things. So this is the one that I'm using. So from the website Hackster.io, they provide a lots of different components that you can use and you can install, and the code related also available there. So check out this website. This website has a lots of very good projects that you can also use for using the LED or any automation and the other. Okay, and also I'm using a sensor to get the data. That's a SparkFun sensor. You see that it has a different component for fetching the rain, the speed of wind, the humidity, the pressure, even it has a GPS and also other things. So this helped me to actually get the information from the environment. And also you see that you just use some cable that's actually female and male cable to connect your sensor to Raspberry Pi. And all of these components you can if you can find it, actually match it with the document that we have. So it's really easy to set up. You just follow the website and you will see them. Okay, so the first step is to set up the Raspberry Pi. For setting up the Raspberry Pi, if you remember from my first things, we need a SD card. So the first step is to install a Windows IoT on your SD card. So I'm going to show you that how it happens. So there's a website for Microsoft that enable you to go there, the developer.microsoft. So here you choose your device. For example, mine is Raspberry Pi Model 3. I'm use this one, and then I'm said that I want to install Windows IoT into my SD card. So I'm choose this one, and I want the Windows 10 IoT that helps me to actually set up the Raspberry Pi and see information there. So and then when you next is actually you can download it, and it's really easy actually to download. It's not that much that time, so maybe in 10 minutes you can easily install the Windows IoT there, and you can see the environment of Raspberry Pi. So this is all about installing, and I'm going to these parts. So now, so we have a Raspberry Pi that has information. Now we should connect our Raspberry Pi to our sensor. So there is a To do that, you should run some code that can connect the Raspberry Pi to the weather sensors and get the data. One approach actually that we use is creating a universal, universal project that help you to create a project in your PC and then deploy it to the Raspberry Pi. So you can create your code in your PC and then it can be deployed to Raspberry Pi. So as you see, this is a project that I have. So I've just downloaded it and it is really ready. I didn't write the codes for them. So you see that we need for this project, we need a weather station that help us to connect the Raspberry Pi and to the weather sensor. Then we need some others for the actually fetching a different type of data. And you see that the type of them is universal Windows. That's actually to help that. And if you look at here, you see that we can run the code on a remote machine. So here, by specify the some component, we can run it. I will tell more about that. And in this code, because this code is actually the connection between your Raspberry Pi and weather station, and in otherwise help you to send the data from Raspberry Pi to cloud, you also have to specify some information here. Okay, so let me start from the getting information. So you see here that we need a specific information to set up. So this is our code that connect to the Raspberry Pi and also to the weather station. In other place, also they help us to send the data to the cloud. So we need some information from cloud. So you see that you should provide the service bus and primary key. I will show that where you can find them. So, and when you run it, it's actually using the remote machine and it easily actually send the data to the cloud. Okay, so let's run start. So we get the data. When we get the data from the weather station, then we want to send it to the cloud. So Raspberry Pi use the JSON format to send the data and get data and send it to the cloud. So the first component that actually get the data is Azure Event Hub. Azure Event Hub is actually a connection between the Cortana and Raspberry Pi and any devices that want to send the information to cloud. And then after that, we are going to send the information through Azure Stream Analytics, then on Power BI, and then Azure Event. But let's see that what is Event Hub. Okay. So this is actually the old portal that we have, that is manage-windows.azure. So I'm going to the manage.windows Azure, that's the old portal, using my live data, my live account. So you see that this is the live account that I have. I'm going here. So this is the first place that you can see. I want to create an event hub there because I want to send information from Raspberry Pi to Cortana. So I'm coming here and I'm creating a new resource, so new event hub. When I click on that, I came to here. So I'm going to create a kind of the service bus. Service bus is actually is like a bus. It helps us to transfer information from one place to other place. So event hub is a kind of related to the service bus. So if you want to create an event hub, you should first create new app service, then create a service bus, and then set that you are going to create an event hub. After that, now you able to specify some information about your event hub, as you see number 5. For example, that was for conference. I call it Definity. That's a name. It can be anything. You specify the region, and also you should have a namespace for that. And then number 6, you will see that I'm created. So after you create, this page will be shown, and you will see that these event hub are going to be created. So you will see the activating. So it takes time to create the event hub. After that is created, you will see that the status become active, and you will see all information. Now you are going to get some information from Event Hub. You are going to configure and see that what's information you have there. So by clicking on Definitive, by design name, you will see that we have different places. So first I'm going to the configuration. In the configuration, there is some primary key here. This primary key is the one that we are going to use in our code. So if I'm back to the previous windows that I have, you will see here that we need a primary key for that. So this is after we create the event hub, we get a primary key. We are going to put it here. So just back to the demo. And also you see that we have a policy name. So as long as you create an event hub, you will get a primary key and policy name, that these two should be used in your code that help you to connect to the event hub. So in this code, you see that it's a service request key and the primary key that we have, that as long as we create an event hub, we can have this. So when you put them here, it's able to code that connect to event hub. So this code actually is a connection between your event hub, between your cloud and your device, that is Raspberry Pi. Okay, back to here. So this is all about creating the event hub. We have two things. We have event hub and IoT hub. There are some differences between them. In event hub that I'm created now, you're just able to send information from device like Raspberry Pi or anything to cloud. You're not able to back the message. For example, you want to create a system that get the temperature of the room and then create a response to manage the fan, manage the heat pump. Okay, so you want to get information, and then based on that information, you want to react. In this case, you should use IoT Hub. So that's the things that happen. So in IoT Hub, enable you to have a device to cloud and cloud to device messaging. But in Event Hub, you just have one way. So this is important. In my example, I'm just using Event Hub, and you see that how I created that. And also there are some device for protocol support and security different that I'm not sure about. Most of them I didn't use, so I'm just seeing these differences. Okay, so that's the thing. So yeah. The second part is about the stream analytics. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you the live here because the internet connection will be very low and the presentation may be affected. So I will show a video of that how it happened. So the next part, so we send the data in JSON format to the Event Hub, and you see that how I'm created the Event Hub. The second part that helped me to send information from Event Hub to Power BI or machine learning is stream analytics. So we create the Event Hub, we have the code here. Now we are going to create a stream analytics that get data from Event Hub and then pass it to Power BI. Event Hub gets some inputs. Stream analysis gets input from Event Hub and pass the output to can be Power BI or SQL database. In this example, you will see that I'm using some code here. So that's the input. I specify input, output, and the code. Okay, let's see that how to create the Event Hub stream analytics. In some case, for creating the stream analytics, I'm using the portal.azure. That's a new portal. So just let me show the difference between them. So here is a new portal, and this one is old portal. I'm always has a struggle to create the Event Hub in new portal. So I'm created here. This is the example that I'm showing to you. So you will see that I'm actually create this one here. But for stream analytics, I'm created actually here. Let's see the steps that I follow from here. So I'm going to the new and I type the stream analytics job, and you see that is actually comes here. And so this is the one that you have, and you create on the create, you double click on that, and after that you will have this menu that you should create the stream analytics. When you create, it asks about the job name. I put a just name definitive, and I'm use the previous user group, and I'm set it up. So it's really easy. So if I want to show you, I can come here, just says that I want to the new, and I want to stream analytics, stream analytics job. So as long as it's created, you will see the stream analytics come here. I'm going to stream analytics job and easily push the button to create the new one. And I've created a new one. I should specify some name for that. So for example, pass BA. This is a subscription that I have, so you can have different subscription. I have this one. You can use the existing one, research group, or create another one, and you can put in the dashboard or just create it. So as long as you create your stream analytics here, so you see that is going to creating. So it's actually started here. Okay, so it's created. Okay, so I'm not going to actually to create a new one here, so just let me back to the presentation. So you see that how it's easy actually to create one. So in the setting that you find it, you will see that, so this is the actually our resource. You will find your stream analytics here, and then if you go here, you will see that you have input and output and query. So for the stream analysis, you should specify the input from which resource you want to get, and put the data where, and write the specific query. So for creating the one, so if you just click on input here, you go to the input, and here you will see you can get data from IoT Hub, Event Hub, or Blob Storage. Then you specify that, and you create the one. So you specify which input you are going to for your one. Now you should specify the output. So here I said that I want to get input from IoT Hub, output from Power BI, and here I'm writing code that's a stream analytics language. It's so similar to Power BI. So you see that I've said that select star from IoT Event Hub and into IoT Power BI. Okay, so it's really easy setting up. So, and this is a language that you have. So it's so similar to SQL. Some case it has different. So here you should have actually write a query to fetch data from input from Event Hub, IoT Event Hub, and then pass it to Power BI. The syntax is really easy. Okay. So just let me show the other from here. So if I'm back to my things, the pass BA should be created here. Just let me check for pass BA. Yeah, that's a pass BA one that I'm just created. So if I click here, you see that I can specify the input from here, and you can add the input. Because I didn't create any any event hub, but so I just said I want to create an event hub, put a name, pass EA, and then just create it. Should be okay now. There's like some connection failed. So that's actually thing, so I'm not going through that. So just let me show the ones that I already have one. That's much better. So I have this one. So you see that the input gets from the IoT Hub. So this is the IoT Hub that I have. Close the window. And I have the Power BI one. So this is the Power BI output that I have. So for Power BI, is automatically create the name. When you create the it's get the data set, you put the data set name and you put the table name there, and it's easily created. Now we are going to look at the query. So this is a query that I have, and you will see that the query actually very easy. Select start from Power BI, and you can specify if you have multiple one, it shows you multiple. So for this demo, I just have this. So back to the presentation. Now we get data from Event Hub, we create our stream analytics. Now we are able actually to send the data to the Power BI. So I'm going to show you the run of my thing. So you see that this is my code. Okay. So this is my code that I'm actually run. This message, you see that my code send the data to the Event Hub, and you see that it's sending message every 2 or 3 seconds to the Event Hub that I have. And after that, in the Event Hub visualization, in the Power BI, you will see that the data is going up and down. So here the data is 23 degree, and that was at the midnight, at the night, actually I'm running. So you see that is changed. Moreover, in a Event Hub, I will show you also there is a chart that show you that how information can be sent, how much requests from your Raspberry Pi, from your code have been sent to the Event Hub, how much them are successful and how much them not. So here, because there are some internet issue, I sent about 244 requests to IoT, to the cloud, to the Cortana. That was failed. You see that incoming message, some of them failed, and just 5 of them actually go through. So if you, it's really good actually that you can, in an old portal actually, you can do that. It's really good because it helps you to actually monitor the information have been sent. So this is my Event Hub. If I go through this, you will see that this is a message. So I'm set that in 7 days ago. It should show me, or maybe 30 days ago. Just show me the fail request for 24 hours. No, it's not showing now. But here you can track the information that's sent from your Event Hub to there. So now we send the data from IoT to the Event Hub through Stream Analytics, and we show the data on Power BI. There is a possibility that you also can send data to Azure ML. Let me first show the connection, and then I will talk about the Azure ML part. So here you actually get the data and send to Azure ML. Now there is a possibility that this data can directly go to Azure ML through this. So when you go to your stream analytics, there is a place that's function. When you click on that, you can add new function. So in an add new function, there is a thing that you can call it as a Azure ML. So you can specify a name for that, and also then you can use the API that you already have from Azure ML and put the key and run the data for that. So let me a bit talk about the Azure ML and how you can create the URL and the key from your Azure ML that help you to actually call the API, call a web service from Azure ML and pass the data that you have from IoT. So the process can be like that. Your Azure ML work as a function that get the data input from IoT, and then by some URL and key, you can actually see the analytics there. So back to the code here. So Azure ML is another part of the Cortana that we have. So this is the Azure ML environment. We are going to see that how Azure ML can be used. Azure ML is actually help us to do some predictive and prescriptive analysis. Till now, what we've done is more about what happened and why it happened. So we call it as a descriptive or diagnostic analysis. But in future, we are going to look at more predictive and prescriptive analytics. Azure ML is a place that helps us to do that. We are going to see that what will be happening. So this is the main use of the Azure ML. Azure ML follow the same as other machine learning, follow the process of that you should know the problem that you are going to solve. You should know the data that you are going to actually working and see on that. And then some data preparation, cleaning, removing missing data, choose a model, and then evaluate, and then deployment. So for example, in a process that we have, we should find that what's the problem. For example, find a potential customer. We should clean the data, use ETL store, and then we should choose a specific algorithm to do that. And we split our current data 1% for creating the model and the next percentage for testing the model. And we can use Azure ML for all different things that you see here, all different things, problem that we have here. So let me show the environment here first. So this is Azure ML environment. You can easily come here and, for example, it's a very simple things. I'm just not going to, yep. So this is my data set that I have here. I can do some data cleaning or anything happen here. So for example, I'm going to remove some data from here. So you see that is a really drag and drop environment here. And for example, for predicting the people will survive or not, I'm just going to choose, to choose some specific column here. And I'm not going to clean the data. And I'm choosing a model. So if you come here, you will see that we have different machine learning model here. So this is different algorithm that we have. For example, for this problem, I'm going to use this one. I'm not going to say that why I'm choose this one because we do not have that much time. So I'm going to train the model. And also I'm going to score the model. That means test the model. And also I have to split the data set into different parts. So this is my data. I'm going to set that I want to put some percentage for testing. And I'm connect the model to the training model, to the testing the model, and I will specify that I'm going to put people who survive or not. And finally, I'm going to test to see that it is work or not. So this is a very simple machine learning. I'm not going to deep that what's happening. So we get data that's a Titanic information about the people who died in a Titanic disaster. We are going to predict people will survive or not based on their passenger class, age, and gender. We split the data here to some percent, 70% for creating the model, 30% for testing the model. I'm choose the algorithm here, I'm train the model here, and then I'm testing. So it's a very simple example that we have here. So as long as it's finished, I can actually see the result and see that how's the prediction is. So it's just going to do that. Just take time. So after you created this model, it's actually you can create as a web service as it, and you provide the passenger class and the age and gender, and it shows you the people will survive or not. So here, for example, this is our input, and it says that people will survive or not. So for example, in our real data, we have a person, that's a male with 30 age, and passenger class 3. In real world, is not survived, and our algorithm also predict that he's not survived. And in the second row, the same. So I'm going to create a web service of that. So if you see here, we can easily create a web service out of that. So I'm just creating that for creating me a new web service for me. Okay, so I just process to create a one. So just save it as a predict service here, and I'm going to deploy it. Okay, I should first run it, sorry. So it's create a web service. That means that you provide an age, gender, and passenger class, and in output is give you that people will survive or not. So now, and let's see that how can I actually deploy the web service here. So easily I have a web service. So if I'm tested, oh, I should eliminate the other parts. So I provide something. So people survive or not, passenger class 2, something, age, for example, 33, oh, sorry, female, age, 33, and the rest. So in the result, it says that people will survive or not. So you see that it creates us an API. This is the API that we can use actually here to do the create the stream analytics. So if I'm back to the stream analytics that I have here, just go to the stream analytics. So for example, this one. So here is actually a function. I can click on function, and I can add a new function to there. And here I put some name, for example, PassBA, and here you can specify the function type that you created, and you can actually put the URL that you have. So for example, this is my URL, and here oh sorry, this is API key, sorry, I just made a mistake. This is API key, so I put it here. For URL also, if you go to the API page of that model that you created, you can actually access the API here and put in the URL place. So what is happened is actually is run this API that you created, this model, and is get the data from the subscription that you have, and then you can create that one. So for this case, because it's not a machine learning thing, that's not related, that's about Titanic, the other data is about data, so I'm not going to create them. But actually it should be also in the same subscription that you already created. I'm in a different one. So you see that how you can easily create the model from there. So in Azure ML also you can do different type of the problem that you have. So you can do some predictions. So if you come here, you see that in the model, if I'm just create a new one. In a model, you will see that you can choose some models for predictions. I can introduce that the model that we have here. That's classification and regression can be used for prediction. We call them at predictive analysis. You can do descriptive analysis, that the main algorithm is k-mean. That means that you can find the pattern in the data. For example, you want to see you're not going to predict the weather situation. You are going just to see the weather, how the weather changes during the time or during the season, how you want to classify that. Or for example, in some case, you just want to see that how the weather will be happen in the next few months. So you are going to do a predictive analysis. So here we are able to do the predictive analysis through regression, predict the value, or predict the class by classification, that we call it predictive, or you can do the prescriptive analysis. That means that find the pattern of the data. And also anomaly detection is kind of the clustering that's help you to find, for example, fraud in bank account or temperature suddenly going up or down. And also by combination of these tools, you can able to do some recommendation of things. So recommendation, we call it as a prescriptive analysis that help you to actually recommend to your customer specific product or specific category of things. So this is the actually problem nature that we can do through the Cortana, through the machine learning product. So this is all about things. I'm not going to actually much deeper. So if I just went back to the charts that I have here, so you will see that how easily we can actually get the data from IoT using a device, and then pass it to the create an event hub in the cloud, doing and pass to the Azure Stream Analytics, visualize data in Power BI, and then or use the data here to Azure ML as a input, and use the web service that you already have there as an API for the input of this data. Okay, so I think so that I'm just finish. So any question?
Hey, yeah, that was great. Thanks for the demo and thanks for walking us through that project. That was really good end-to-end project that you just showcased. We have a few questions. Before I share that with you, just an announcement for anyone attending this. If you want to ask questions, there should be a questions tab, and so feel free to type your questions, and I'll pass it on to Leila one by one. All right. So whenever you're ready, Leila, I can give you a few questions.
I'm ready actually. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the first question from Jason Price, he asks, can you tell me where to buy Raspberry Pi? And he also says that he saw a kit with about $100 for 10 cores. So I think it just wants high-level idea of where you can buy Raspberry Pi and what cores it should have.
Okay, about Raspberry Pi, I'm saying that I purchased it about a year ago from a store in New Zealand. I purchased it $70. But it is available. So if you go through the internet, there's different versions. So Raspberry Pi 3 and 2, and Raspberry Pi is actually like a computer that you can program it. And for this case, for example, we wrote a code here to manage that. So if I'm just going to the, just let me show you here. Oh, sorry, it's a bit slow. So you actually, it's really easy to manage. So for example, you can use PowerShell or anything to program the things and using in a game or any other tools. Yeah. I'm just wait till it's come up. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the second question is, how do you connect Raspberry Pi with Visual Studio? Like,
Okay.
how do you write code in Visual Studio so that it executes against Raspberry Pi?
So as actually the main important is that you create a universal Visual Studio. So if you go to the Visual Studio and right click on the properties, you will see that just come up just a minute. That is actually is try to find the information about the just a minute, sorry, just a project. If no, sorry, properties of here is connected to them. So just a minute, I show you the place that it's happened. Yeah. So here you see that this is my Raspberry Pi machine name. So your laptop and Raspberry Pi should be connected through the same internet network. Okay, so in that case, when they are connected to the same internet network, if you click on Find, they could find it in the same one. So for example, my Raspberry Pi name was Leila IoT. So when I click on find, automatically it can able to can find the Raspberry Pi. So here is actually the place that they can run. And also here in universal Windows type project, you're able to actually remotely debug your code to the Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi is not that much big that you can run your code. It's very hard to install, actually to write the code there. So what we do, we use our PC as a source that deploy the code to the Raspberry Pi. So universal style, universal, the type of universal Windows help us. So if you want to create the one, you can go easily to the project or solution here, and sorry, to the project or solution here, and you can easily actually create a universal studio one. But yeah, writing the codes between the device like sensors and the device is a bit actually tricky. So just let me see that if I have it here. Yeah, so you should actually create a universal Windows project to deploy your code. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the other question that I see here is that can we use Cortana Intelligence Suite or Cortana Analytics for non-Azure data?
For non-Azure data, okay.
Azure data?
You mean that data is not in Azure ML, or data
Yeah, I
is not?
think that's what I interpret it the same way. It seems like the person wants to know if it's, I think, on-premises data, maybe. So anything
Uh,
that's not on the cloud, in other words, yeah.
yeah, it's possible. Azure ML, actually, yes. If your data is actually is from the sensor, you want to send it to Azure ML, yeah. But if your data is not in the actually in cloud, you're also able to use Azure ML about that. So there is a possibility that, of course, is not free. It's not free. So if you go to the Azure ML pricing, you will see that there's a standard version that help you to connect to the on-premises data. So just let me check that where is that, but yeah, it's not free actually to connect to the on-premises. Yep. So for the free version that I'm using is not possible, but if you have a paid version, you're able to read data from on-premises SQL Server. Yep.
Okay, awesome. And I think just to add to that, I personally use Azure Data Factory to bring data from our on-premises SQL Server
Oh,
to the cloud. So that's another option. And as you mentioned in the slide that you showed, the architecture, the other tools that let you do that. So check it out, and it's not free, like Leila mentioned. You can look at the
okay.
pricing page
Okay. Thank you.
for that.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. And then the other question that's here is Cortana Analytics. Is Cortana Analytics only for IoT platform? And what other things that I could do with Cortana Analytics?
Oh, actually, no. I'm just provide the example for that one. I'm use the IoT example for that. So it's like a other platform. If you have your data on cloud and you want to gather, so it's kind of used for ETL process. So you can do the Azure Data Factory for that places. You want to actually share your data, so with the other in the cloud, so you can. So it's not just about Azure ML. It can be used for big data analytics and actually doing ETL on cloud. So I'm because my thing is my area is more machine learning things. I'm using for the actually getting the data and use it for the Azure ML parts. But no, it's not just about that.
Okay, awesome. And there's another question on what type of subscription is required from Microsoft to use all of these things?
Okay, yes, actually. There are, if you log in for the first time, they provide you $300 for actually using the Cortana. So, Stream Analytics is not that much costly, but when you connect it to the database, Azure SQL database, per transaction you should pay. But for experiment, you will be, for the account that you have, you will be $300. But you should be careful that you stop. So for example, if you start, so for example, I'm come here, and okay, so when you start the Azure, so for example, pass definitive, look at the definitive. So here you actually start your streaming analytics by click on start. When it's get a start, so yes, for each information that it get and it's pass it, yes, it will cost, but it's not that much. But yeah, you should pay actually. I'm already paid for, yeah.
All right, perfect. So they should go to portal.azure.com to get started, right?
Yes, yes,
Or
yes,
just
for
azure.com.
analytics, yes, yes, you should
Okay,
do it. Make it
awesome.
happen. Yeah.
Awesome, perfect. Uh, all right, I think that's all the questions that I see on the Q&A box. And thanks, Leila, for your time. It was a great demo. I think I think there's a lot of inspiration that the attendees could take out of it. So before we close out, any last minute advice or tips for the attendees? So before we end, Leila, do you have any last minute advice for the attendees
Oh,
on Cortana Analytics?
oh, okay. So, actually, the problem that I'm having with the IoT that I'm have, you mean that what's the challenge that I have in this project? You mean that? So,
Oh, no, sorry. So before we close out, I was just wondering if you have any last minute thoughts or ideas that you want to share with the attendees.
oh, yes, there's a problem that I have with the IoT that they should be in the same network. So it should be really stable. That means that the connection, for example, if you're using a Wi-Fi, they should be in the same Wi-Fi. So that's really important. And also, you should be careful about the connections that they have. So if you look at the model for the Cortana that I have, you see that we have different chain here. So always sometimes sending data from Event Hub to Stream Analytics maybe not work. So you should check actually the data, the availability of Azure Azure Event Hub. Sometimes the data cannot be sent to Event Hub. That's because of problem, definitely the network. And in this place, there is not that much problem, but I face the problem here. So that's important thing that you should check. Another thing, be careful about the cost that it has. So always remember to stop the stream analytics, otherwise it costs a lot. Mostly if you are not just sending data to Power BI, for example, sending to SQL database, yeah, it's really costly. And but otherwise, you can use this for mostly for the industry that they want to have a live data and they want to do that through the cloud. This experiment, this case study can be really helpful. And thank you for attending my session. Yep, just this. And
Yeah, thanks.
if you have any question, oh, I just forget to say, uh, this is
Yes.
my actually email address. I will put it here. So this is my email address. .com, and also this is my Twitter account. So if you have any questions or anything, any issue, please contact me. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for sharing your contact information. Definitely follow Leila and also Reza from DataCat. They have really good resources on their website as well. So check them out. And yeah, you can. There are some questions on where the sessions were. So if you want to download the slides, they're on the handout section. We'll also put it on the meeting archive page on our website. And if you want to rewatch this session, then they'll be on the YouTube channel later. Check back in about 24 hours or so, just so that we can get it out there for you. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks, Leila, for your time again, and thanks so much for sharing all the knowledge that you have.
Thank you so much. Thank you for providing this opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much. All right, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.